All right, today we've got an overcharging alternator, 15.1 volts. That is no good. We should be below 14.2 volts and above 13.5 ideally. And our alternator charging light is on also, which is no good. How do we fix it? We're going to go through that right now. I've been trolling every forum and video online, including YouTube, and I haven't found a solution, but I think I've worked it out. So if you've got an overcharging alternator that's charging at very high 14s or into the 15s voltage, this could be the fix for you. The alternator is still in the vehicle. That is my replacement alternator that I found. I thought the voltage regulator is stuffed, but it's not, and I'll show you why. So here's my second, well, this would be my third replacement alternator. I got a cheap one. The one I got in the engine at the moment, I got for 50 bucks. The brushes are a bit worn, but it does the job for now. And this is going to be my second backup. So I want to see how long that one lasts. I've cleaned it up and it runs perfectly. So yeah, this is my alternator that I got for 150 bucks. So we're going to bench test it on the ground and I'll show you the problem, and then we'll go to the vehicle and I'll show you the fix. Okay, so the setup you're going to need to bench test or ground test your alternator, if you're going to do one of those, is a spare car battery. I'm using a set of jumper leads, or we can use any cables as long as it can connect to the battery posts and the alternator. A 12 volt lamp source. This is a Caravan LED strip. It runs on 12 volts, which is all we need. With a plug on the end, we can connect with our alligator clips, but also a piece of short cable, ideally with a connection, which is a spade, which will connect to our output sensing wire, and just some bare stripped wire on the end. And a set of, these are made up myself, alligator clipped wires. It's got alligator clips on both ends. So alternator, jumper cables, a globe or a 12 volt LED strip, that'll work fine. A battery. This thing here, which is called, my mental blanks kicked in, multimeter. Oh yeah, and you're also gonna need a drill with a socket on the end to spin your alternator around as well. So they're the bits you need. So we've hooked up our battery now to our alternator. That's very simple. Just ground anywhere on the body of the alternator to your ground terminal on your battery, positive on your battery to the positive connection to your alternator. That's very simple. Now we're going to get our multimeter. We'll switch that back on. We're going to connect our multimeter permanently to the ground plug on the battery. Let me just do that now. All right, so we've just popped our multimeter permanently on the ground. Okay, the next thing you want to do is grab your set of alligator clips with 2 plugs each end. Hook up your alligator clips to your LED lamp. This one is currently on because we've got it all hooked up correctly. So the alligator clips on one end of your lamp, the other end, the positive on the alternator, which will supply power to the lamp. And your connection for your lamp on your alternator, if you just swap them over, you'll find that this one doesn't work. You won't damage anything because this is just the grounding point. So there's no ground there. So this one's got the ground, as you can see, LED on. The other side, the LED does not go on. So you can't really stuff that up. Just find the ground point, connect that up properly. Now I'm putting my alligator clip on sideways as it holds on a lot better. Just put that power back on there. Okay, so we've got our LED hooked up now, or our lamp, if you're using a standard globe. So we'll go through that again. We've got our battery with jumper cables. They're hooked up as per standard, red positive, black negative. On your alternator, negative or ground to the body of the alternator, and the power side of your battery to the power output of your alternator. Your jumper cables, power, and one of your spades for your lamp to your lamp. So that's part 1 done. And now, this is how most cars will get a high voltage on their alternator reading. So let's fire it up. Going to hook up our drill to our alternator and we'll see what voltage it's outputting. Except we have to hook up our multimeter to our positive side here. That would help. Let's just plug that in to the side there. All right, now we've got our multimeter reading right there. Let's put this over here. Okay, we'll spin up the alternator and we should get a voltage increase. And ideally our lamp should go out. All right, when it starts charging and the voltage goes up, you can definitely feel a heavier resistance on the drill. So that means it is working and charging. Let's go full power and see what voltage we get up to. So we're climbing quite high. And we've almost reached 15 volts. And there we go. We've reached our 15 volts. So this alternator okay, so we've reached over our 15 volts, which is quite bad for a battery, and our charging lamp has not gone off. Now the reason for this is because this alternator requires a sensing wire as a feedback loop to see what charge is going on. So basically this alternator doesn't know that it's reaching 15 volts. It's just outputting as much voltage as it can. So on your car, you've got a plug that plugs into here with your lamp and your sensing wire. The same as I showed you in the vehicle, the dash red light is not going off, the same as this LED lamp here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna run a jumper wire from this other spade connector here, which is the feedback spade, and this one's too small. Where's my blue one? Okay, so I'm just gonna run this blue wire to our sensing input and hook that up to the battery power as well. All right, so now our sensing blue wire is hooked up to direct power, so it knows how much power is in the system. So at the moment, this blue wire knows that there's 12.8 volts flowing through the regulator. So now let's go through the hookup again. This is the ideal hookup for a properly working and charging alternator that's at the correct voltage. So we've got our battery, which is normally in the vehicle, jumper cables attached to the alternator, ground on the body, positive on the positive terminal. Next we've got our jumper alligator clips to the lamp. So to your lamp output, to your lamp, and power to your lamp. That's your lamp setup. And now our sensing wire hooked up to the power as well, so it knows how much power is going through. So now let's hook up our drill again and go flat out. And that lamp should go out as soon as we hit some charge on the multimeter. So let's go. So did you see that? The lamp goes out almost instantly as soon as the voltage increases on our multimeter. So just watch the lamp over here and the multimeter. Actually, let's put that over there. Actually, let's bring our lamp closer together so we can see it all in action. Hopefully we can see that. There we go. So let's spin up our drill. And we'll go flat out. Look at that, we're stabilised at 14.1 volts. So there we go, stabilised at 14.1 volts. Basically the fix is this blue wire that gives the alternator feedback from the power source. And that is our fix. So let's go to the vehicle and hook that up and I'll show you that it works. All right, so we are in the engine bay. This is our alternator that was putting 15.1 volts out. So you can see down there, this alternator is labeled L for lamp and there's an S on the bottom. So lamp and sense wire. Okay, so basically we've taken the plug off the alternator and just run a wire to it. So it's hooked up exactly the same. Let me get the light down there. So we've just got our spade connectors in the alternator output plug. and the other end is just hooked into our plug there. So this is hooked up exactly the same. Let's go and start the vehicle and show you the voltage. Right, that's our setup there. And our lamp is still on. Alright, so we've still got the high charging voltage issue. So all we're going to do is on the back of the alternator where you've got the power coming out, this plug right here with your big nut on it. That's your mains power from your battery. We're going to hook up our alligator clip down there. Make sure the other end isn't touching any metal. So, okay, so this end should have voltage. Let's get our multimeter. Okay, so we've got 13.1 volts on this alligator clip. Okay, so this alligator clip just runs from our alternator voltage, and all we're going to do is hook that up to our lamp side, which is labeled there, like so. All right, we've got our non-charging light on the dash there. All right, so our charging lamp's gone out. And look at that. We've got a very respectable 14.1, 14.2 volts. Stabilized at 14.2 volts. And no more lamp. So there you go, that's how you can potentially solve your alternator overcharging. Run a wire from your power on the back of your alternator to your alternator sensing plug connection, and that should solve your issue. So there's obviously an issue with the feedback power coming to the alternator, which I'll try and track down. If not, I'll just run a new sense wire from a power source to this plug here, but I'll try and trace this plug down. It's fairly new, they're all labeled, so it shouldn't be hard to track down. Alternator. So I'll trace that down, see where it's plugged into, because it's obviously not getting the proper required voltage. What I might do too is see how much voltage it is getting while the engine is running by putting my multimeter in that hole there. And let's go start it up. So the lamp is still on. And where's our multimeter? There you go, we're not getting any voltage from that sense wire. Nothing at all. When we plug the power in, you can hear the engine change RPM. So with our piggyback wiring, we're getting 14.2 volts. So it could possibly mean that there's a fuse blown as well, which isn't sending power to the alternator's sense wire. So we're going to track that down. But anyway, that is how you track down and potentially solve your alternator over voltage problem. Okay, I've already got an update. I've just ran a separate wire from the alternator power to the plug because I traced back the sense wire. I couldn't find where it's leading to. I think it's in the engine harness somewhere, so forget about that. This regulator doesn't draw any voltage from when the ignition's off, which is great. So there's no drawdown on the battery even after a few days. So we're all good there. Just check yours doesn't drain the battery. You can draw a couple of amps, or it could draw nothing and you'll get away with doing it that way. So there you go, that's my fix for today. I'm super happy with that. Beauty. And as always, thanks for watching. If you liked what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to leave a comment below, that would help my channel grow. And if you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to my channel, that would be fantastic.